Hey everybody, welcome into the Fallout Shelter. I'm going to go over a section of the Russian criminal code that I have found. Uh, some people may have already put this out and I just don't know about it, but it's something I found and found interesting. I thought you may find it interesting as well. So it is the draft law for the federal law of Russian Federation that was presented by S.J. Vorosilov. Article 1, it was the supplement section of Chapter 24 of the Criminal Code of the Federal Federation with the Articles 221 1, 221 2, 221 3, and 21 4. And in kind of double checking this, I found this in Article 221 is the stealing or possession of nuclear materials or radioactive substances. And the stealing or possession of nuclear materials or radioactive substances shall be punishable. Yada yada yada. It goes on about the that in the subsection here. The appliance of forbidden for circulation electromagnetic, infrasound, ultrasound, and other kinds of radiators intent to cause harm. And that basically goes on with the legalese of all of that through the whole thing. It goes from Article 221 to 355 and 356. Appliance of forbidden for circulation electromagnetic, infrared, infrasound, ultrasound, and other kinds of radiators destined to be used qua weaponry of mass destruction. The end. The President of the Russian Federation, V.V. Putin. Okay, then at the end of this, it gives explanatory notes. I'm going to read some of this and try to get through it quickly because it's extremely long. The development of the scientific technical progress goes at an ever-increasing pace, remarkably outstripping the legislation in force. The processes in our society following this development quite often end up with negative consequences because a single scientific invention in the area of secret remote control or destruction of human material leads to the principally new kind of crime without a legal stipulation. Currently, it is additionally complicated by the existing lack of legal control and helplessness of the authorities. The existing legal rules of the Constitution of the Russian Federation are declarative and are only on the paper to find in reality they do not function. It is necessary to bear in mind that a plain person is very bad really protected from the arbitrary rule of civil servants and criminals. And in this day and age is left by the state to his fate. In the catalog of armament items being in arsenal, there is no item that is called psi weapon, the weapon of psychotronic influence. The equipment is a part of systems of hardware devices created to observe a human as a biological object under everyday living conditions. In the most of cases, these researchers and developments are being secretly held with the appliance of different kinds and sorts of innovations influencing mentality of a human being and which are capable to bring him to a tragic result. The most of Russian scientists have taken part in the process of creation of effective methods of influence on a human at a distance. I am not going to attempt all of those names. I would butcher just about every one of them. At the beginning of the 90s, the 1990s, 30 years ago, under the control of the Central Committee of the Communist Party of the Soviet Union and responsibility of KGB by the Council of Ministers of the USSR have worked dozens of organizations which were involved in the researching and developing of radiators of electromagnetic, infrasound, and ultrasound influence on human mind and organism and were specialized on the mass production of such devices. Along with the KGB of the USSR, several departments at the same time were engaged in the experiments on transforming humans into biorobots. In the result of it, not a few people were crippled and murdered. Under the psychotronic influence is understood intended impact on a human being by means of electromagnetic fields and acoustic, infrasound, ultrasound waves. Such an impact causes changes in behavior and brain functioning, as well as in the reactions on proceedings and situations, and leads to the disorder in the work of functional systems of a body and changes in tissue cells. It is regarded that the methodology of stimulating a human being with radiotechnical devices is based on the discovery of our compatriot A. Mikhailovsky In the mid-30s, he found that some combinations of electromagnetic impulses repeated with a definite frequency stimulate some points of brain responsible both for mood and for functioning of human organs. Mikhailovsky's invention was at once used to suppress human will. Moreover, later that made possible to make people unconditionally obedient, blindly carrying on orders coming from strangers. Depending on a signal generated by psychotronic generators, they could be divided into infrasound generators, UHF ultra high frequency, and SHF super high frequency generators. UHF SHF generators with a modulated signal of low frequency and ultrasound and Roentgen radiators. To this group could be put also gyrodynamic phenomena, torsional radiation of twisted polarization, and leptonic radiators. Sideline electromagnetic fields stimulate an aura of a human being, causing changes of mood and mental abilities. Aura of a human being is heterogenic and is composed of radiations of his different organs. Wave characteristics of each organ have been long ago described by scientists and are well known. Resonance frequencies of some parts of the human body are as follows. The head is 20 to 30 hertz. The eyes are 40 to 100 hertz. The vestibular apparatus is 0.5 to 13 hertz. The heart is 4 to 6 hertz. The spinal column is 4 to 6 hertz. The stomach is 2 to 3 hertz. Intestines are 2 to 4 hertz. The kidneys are 6 to 8 hertz. And the hands are 2 to 5 hertz. It is possible to correct the working of organs with a therapeutic aim, but to some extent adjusted, it will be no problem to achieve the opposing result in such a way that it won't be viewed by the people around. It is possible to correct the working of organs with a therapeutic aim. We're talking about basically it's a radiation because it's a wave. But to some extent adjusted, it will be no problem to achieve the opposing result, damage of the organs, in such a way that it won't be viewed by the people around. In the result of UHF radiation-induced injury, a person gets diseases which are very difficult to treat. For example, cancer cells will be unavoidably activated and then a person will be sick with incurable cancer. Irradiating of the vital organs, one can definitely disable them, and at a certain moment a patient departs this life. It is well known that human brain is very vulnerable to the heat and increase of temperatures. If even just for a short time irradiated with ultra-high frequency, the temperature of the brain increases, and that will cause a distortion in the functioning of the whole organism. If UHF radiation power significantly increases, the temperature of the human brain will considerably increase, and a lethal result is not avoidable. Moreover, this radiation goes through different kinds of obstacles. If biocurrents of a human organism in the range of 1 to 35 hertz are irradiated with super high frequency, a person will get following symptoms: broken perception of reality, hyposthenia and hypersthenia, excitement or apathy, fatigue, weakness of the body, nausea and headache, possibly the sterilization of instinct area, damages of heart beginning from arrhythmia to the heart failure, and damages of brain and neural axis. There are also additional symptoms as smarting eyes, earache as by air pressure differences, numbing hands, buzz in the head, twitching legs, and burning feet syndrome. Waves actively modulated in the range of alpha rhythm frequency of the brain can cause irreversible behavior deviations. Appliance of SHF generator with certain frequencies enable to suppress the consciousness of many people and make possible to implant certain behavior or moreover strange ideas. Powerful SHF radiation can switch off all unconditioned reflexes and make a human completely helpless. The harm will sharply increase if add the torsions of brain, heart, and neural axis functioning. The scope of SHF technology implementation, especially by the creation of weapon of mass destruction, depends on the availability of high-power SHF generators. The existing SHF generators of continuous time regime with power of about 1,000 kilowatts enable to solve a great range of problems. However, the spheres of application of SHF radiators could be widened with the appearance of continuous time generators with power of about 1, I think that's megawatt and more. The academician Avramenko was engaged in the research on military application of SHF generators. Extreme high-frequency radiation extremely influences human neural axis, brain, and other organs. To the very same extent it influences the human mind. In other words, this is evidence for human mind control. Waves actively modulated in the range of alpha rhythm frequency of the brain can cause irreversible behavior deviations. Symptomology in the whole is similar to that of SHF irradiation-induced damage. Elaboration and production of generator of microwave oscillations enable a creation of weapon that promises well. Low doses of microwave radiation are used for therapeutic goals by medical personnel. High doses of microwave radiation damages both people and equipment. The microwave radiation generators with power content to hundreds of something have already been created. Microwave radiation is very harmful for a human being. Under usual conditions, our organisms produce about 1,000 watts of heat. It is regarded to be harmful for a living organism if the consumed power from outside is higher as the own heat production. Okay, I'm going to just stop reading this right here. I'm going to link below to where I found this. And some of these things I do not know. I'm not going to lie. I'm not an academic. But I do understand that they're talking about we found the way to control people's minds. Microwaves can make blind, impotent. Furthermore, they can kill. The thermal damage of our organism takes place by a falling irradiation of a mathematical equation. Such level of devices is already achieved by now. It is well known that electromagnetic waves are oscillations of electric and magnetic fields, vectors of which are perpendicular in relation to each other and to the direction of spreading with the falling wave, and efficiently consume radiation 70 to 100 megahertz with the wavelength 3 to 4 meters. This is an ideal weapon for the destruction of human material has been created, and we may not forget that these waves are very good at penetrating obstacles. Keep in mind, this is a notation on law. Torsional radiation, physical radiation, it talks about the torsional fields, Roentgen generators and gamma radiators, the harmfulness they do to the cells. It goes on and on and on. It's a very long document. I don't really have time to read the whole thing. It gets very... A powerful charged beam of particles or a beam of neutral atoms could be used as weapon. A destructive element in this case is a beam of charged particles which actively interact with molecules of air, ionize them, and warm up. While widening the density of warmed air decreases, that enables charged particles to spread further. A train of short pulses is capable to form a particular channel in the air. Charged particles will spread through this channel almost with any impediment. For the setup of a channel can be used a ray of ultraviolet laser. If we use negative charged ions of hydrogen and tritium, which accelerate by means of electromagnetic fields to the speeds near to light speed and then neutralize in the course of getting through a thin layer of gas, we become such a beam of neutral atoms that it is capable to penetrate deep through almost any obstacle. Yeah, and in that same thing, it gets back down into the brain. A human being does not hear frequencies higher than 20 kilohertz, but ultrasound damages human material also at inaudible range. There are both thermal and mechanical influences of elastic oscillations with frequencies higher than 100 kilohertz in use. Even such an intensity of concentrated oscillations considerably influence the brain structures and neural system, causing headache, dizziness, and brings eyesight and mouth out of order, nausea, convulsions, and sometimes loss of consciousness. By means of directed impulse, the heart of any human being could be stopped. Ultrasound penetrates obstacles easily. Dangers are regarded to be the frequencies in the range of 20 kilohertz to 1 megahertz. So, yeah, I would suggest if you have any interest in knowing about all of this that you go find this and read it, and you go look up anything you can and read it. I will be searching for more and more things on this and to try to bring to you in the future. I hope that you enjoyed this, and if you did and you find yourself enjoying it, please click the subscribe button and hit that thumbs up. I appreciate it. Y'all have a wonderful day, and God bless you.